Welcome to Spirit Speak, Exploring the Afterlife with Connie and Barry Strohm. Your hosts are here to speak the words of the spirits and answer your questions. Now, here are Connie and Barry.
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Spirit Speak, Exploring the Afterlife. I'm Barry Strohm, your host. We're going to use our gift of spirit communication to investigate various aspects of the spiritual life and the afterlife.
And I'm Connie Strohm, your co-host. Today we're going to investigate the world of witches. Our guest is our friend Marla Brooks, author and the host of the radio show on the PowerX radio network, Stirring the Cauldron. She's also a practicing witch. If you would like to ask her some questions, we will be taking a call in the third segment of the show. The number is 866-472-5788.
Now, Connie and I currently have a YouTube channel. It's in my name, Barry Strohm. We have over 400 videos up there. We also do a radio show called Channeling History and 2 podcasts, a weekly message from Jesus and a Sunday sermon. All of our shows are available on the YouTube channel.
We will welcome any suggestions that you might have for future shows. Our email is exploringtheafterlife2023@gmail.com. So please send your suggestions or comments to that email address. Next week, we'll be exploring death. We will channel the Archangel Azrael, the angel that helps the soul make a transition to heaven upon passing. We're also going to be channeling Steve Jobs. He was an agnostic in life, and he would tell you what happened upon his death. We're also going to be channeling Robin Williams. He committed suicide, and he will speak of the events that came after his death. We will all face death. Once you understand it, you will realize that there's nothing to fear. It is simply the end of one life and the beginning of another.
Okay, Connie, thank you. I'd like to spend as much time with Marla as we can. So let's welcome her on our show.
Welcome, Marla. Great to have you.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, we're here. So, Marla.
Yeah, well, that's a good sign.
Yes. So anyway, Marla, what is a witch?
Oh, that's kind of interesting because everybody has their own, thing about it. But basically, it's being one with nature, respecting all living things, and working with Earth's elements, which is fire, air, earth, and water.
That sounds pretty simple. I know when we talk,
pretty much.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I was kind of expecting a longer answer, but we'll go with it.
I could say that it's also a thing that you have to learn how to ride a broom. I mean, that's what most people think anyway.
Yeah, well, you mentioned in your bio that you said you came out of the broom closet. So is there really a stigma attached to being a witch?
Yeah, there is. There probably always will be because, in the mainstream, witches are portrayed very evilly. Most people grow up with the Wicked Witch of the West, and it's a rarity to see a picture of a witch in the mainstream that doesn't have a wart on her face, or is old as Methuselah, or cackles around a cauldron all the time. I think witches are very much misunderstood, and basically because of a lack of knowledge. And that's why, we like to get up and talk about it so people might realize that we're not dancing with the devil and eating children, Some people really think we still do.
Well, I mean, we could have held this off to Halloween, but I decided we're going to go with the truth of it. So,
well, yeah, exactly.
I do not know what the difference is between a Wiccan and a witch. So if you could explain that.
Well, yeah, Wiccan is part of being a witch. Some witches are Wiccan, but how does it go? All witches are pagan, but they're not Wiccan. Wiccan is, the difference between the two, maybe that's easier. They're both pagans, and paganism is an umbrella term. We use it to describe a diverse group of religious and spiritual belief systems, and So a quick explanation, and I think I mentioned this to you one day, is that the word Christianity has many branches. It's Protestant and Lutheran, Presbyterian, and all the rest. And pagans have Stregas, we have gray witches, we have eclectic witches, and a whole bunch else. So Wiccan is a fairly new religion. It's considered a modern interpretation of the pre-Christian traditions, but it came into being in the 1930s with a man named Gerald Gardner. And then in the 1970s, a man named Barry Buckland introduced it to America. So it's just another path that pagans take, and they kind of, it's with them, it's ye harm none and do what you will, which is a very good thing. And they also believe in the threefold law, which means if you do anything good or bad, you get it back 3 times. So, it's just like a slightly different religion, but, it's pretty close to being the same thing.
Okay. Marla, I've noticed that you wear a pentacle around your neck. I thought that was supposed to be a symbol of evil, but you're not evil. I know that.
I know. Well, it's really good to use it, show it when you're in a line at the grocery store because people will get out of your way. But it's not a symbol of evil. The pentagram is a representation of good versus evil. It's a symbol of faith, a symbol of the 5 elements, which again is spirit, air, earth, water, and fire. And it's in religious terms, if you want to make it simple, we call it kind of a pagan St. Christopher medal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we wear it for protection and.
No, I was just going to ask for you to explain what a pagan really is.
Pagan is basically just somebody that is practicing a religion rather than just the basic 3, Judaism and Christianity, and I forget the third one now. Oh, my God. But anyway, that's all it is. It's just really simple. Hang on just 1 second because my alarm is going off. And okay, there. Could you hear it?
No, I didn't.
That was weird. Okay, good. All right. So, yeah. So it's not one of the major 3 religions. And there's, like Buddhism and shamanism. Those are pagans. Pagans just don't always have to do with witchcraft. So, it's hard to figure out. There's so many things that you can say, well, this is this, and, oh my God, are Buddhists Wiccans or witches because they're pagan? It's just an umbrella term for all these different things.
Do all witches practice an earth-based religion and only worship gods and goddesses and other deities?
Yeah, no. I've got friends who are Christian Druids. I have friends who are Jewish witches. And, pagans, in a sense, it's like groups of practicing nature-based polytheistic, and I can never say this word, religions, which means that they worship more than one god, as opposed to other religions who only worship one god. Pagans kind of embrace all religions, though, where there's no dogma. We, are free to pray to whoever we want, and nobody gives a hoot. Everybody's very happy about it. And, my practice is earth-based, and most of everybody that I know is. Some people will do, other things, but it's just for the good. We respect every living thing. We respect Mother Earth, and we don't spend our time cackling around a cauldron and, throwing curses at people and stuff like people think we do.
Does the practice of worshiping goddesses or other deities conflict with what we're told about there's only one single God?
That's what I think. I believe there is one supreme being. And, whoever you do pray to, I think it's all the same thing with one name. And I I don't know why everybody is different, but, we all go the same way. We pray to somebody, we worship somebody, and sometimes more than one somebody. But, the Supreme Being does it all, and I don't think she cares what we call her, him. It's just, that we do, that we acknowledge that there is a Supreme Being.
Are there any, if you watch Halloween shows and stuff, you see these, witches on broomsticks and all this stuff. Are there really bad witches out there?
Yeah. And basically because we're all human. And so witches are people, and just like regular people, there are people that are good and there are people that are bad. Anywhere you go, you have to have one or the other, or you can't have one without the other. So yeah, there are bad witches. There are people that don't care about harming other people and whatever, but most of us are not like that at all. It's just that we have a bad reputation. And that kind of clogs it up.
Yeah, really. How would you go about getting a better reputation?
Well, I think education.
I would think shows like I'm trying to do today would be a big help. But it's
like what? I'm sorry, you burbled out. Say that again.
No, I'm just saying that I'm sure the people trying to do what we're doing today to explain just exactly what beliefs witches have would be a big help. But it seems like you've got such a high bar to try to get over with all the bad stuff that people say about witches.
Yeah, and I don't think it's ever going to go away. I really think that there's so much bad press out there, and people, when they're growing up, oh boy, there's a wicked witch, and this is Halloween, and people don't take the time to want to care. That's the thing. They don't ask questions. Most people are kind of afraid of witches just because it's a word, and that's terrible. I wish that more people would ask. This is why I'm doing my show, because I want people to understand that, we're just human beings. We just, we pray to maybe a different God or the same God. When I pray to the Blessed Mother, I pray to Jesus, I pray to all kinds of people, and that doesn't make me getting kicked out of the witch society. You know what I mean? So it's just something that it needs to be out there in the right way, rather than on Halloween when you watch the Travel Channel and you see these so-called witches that are dressed up and scare the hell out of us, when we look at them. And, that's really not who we are.
You mentioned your show Stirring the Cauldron a couple of times. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about that right now?
All right. It's on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern on the Para X Radio Network. And we talk, it's not all witchy. It's all metaphysical. As you well know, you're one of our favorite guests, you and Connie.
Thank you.
And so we cover all all kinds of different topics. We talk about UFOs. We talk about witchcraft. We talk about afterlife. We talk about mediumship and channeling. So, it's like a smorgasbord of metaphysical things. And I have a YouTube channel that has a couple of hundred shows on there. And that's at YouTube, and it's Stirring the Cauldron Para X. So if anybody is interested in any kind of metaphysical thing, I think you'll find it there. And you guys were just on recently, and I think I've got 2 or 3 of your shows up there. So people that are following you can find you there too.
All 7 of them.
Thank you.
So you mentioned witchcraft. What exactly is witchcraft?
It's determined by a lot of different things. People are just kind of think that it's doing spells and it's cursing people and all kinds of things. But witchcraft is basically just kind of what you want to make it. It depends what path you're following, basically. But there's different types. Like some people ask about shamanism and witchcraft, and what's the same thing, and that is really simple because people really don't understand that it's just an earth-based religion, and shamanism is too. So people say, well, wait, no, Native Americans and witches, how do that match? But we do. I mean, it's just really interesting. So it's just kind of, well, how do they say it? They talk about manipulating energy to make things happen. People say casting spells is witchcraft. That's not all it is. And I think you might be surprised to know that you cast a spell every day. Everybody casts spells every day, and it's not witchcraft. When you guys pray to your God and ask for something, we're doing the same thing when we're asking our deities or gods to help us with things. A prayer is a spell. And some people will say, no, that's not true, but it is. We cast spells, not every day. A spell is, basically simply a valid reason for doing something. It's a manipulation of energy, and it's there to produce a desired effect. And, it's not sitting around a cauldron, dancing up and down, and, calling up snakes and ghosts and all kinds of things to do the bidding. So.
Well, okay. We got a lot to talk about, but before we do that, let's take a short break. Thank you for tuning into the show. We'll be back in 2 minutes, and then we're going to hear more about witches and witchcraft.
Connie and Barry will be back after a few words from our sponsors.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
Is death the end of the journey of the soul, or a time of new beginnings? Is there proof of an afterlife? What would historic figures say if they lived today? Psychic and channeler Barry Strohm uses his gift of spirit communication to answer these questions and explore all aspects of the hereafter. Have all the information necessary not to fear life's final journey. Tune in to Spirit Speak, Exploring the Afterlife with Connie and Barry Strohm. Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Variety Channel.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Psychic and author Barry Strohm has now published 9 books dealing with supernatural subject from ghosts to aliens. His most recent books, Messages of God and Messages of the Prophet Muhammad for a Modern World, bring you the channeled messages of the founders of Christianity and Islam. Their words are intended to guide their followers through these modern times. These books are available in softcover and ebook on Amazon.com. Signed copies of all of Strom's books are available on his website, www.barrystrom.com.
The Internet's #1 talk station. #1 talk station. VoiceAmerica.com.
Welcome back to Spirit Speak, Exploring the Afterlife. Here are your hosts, Connie and Barry Strohm.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us. Today we have a wonderful guest, Marla Brooks, and we are discussing the wonderful world of witches. So, Marla, thank you for being with us.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me get on the broom and come over and visit.
Anytime. Do you always use that broom to clean up as well as to get around, or?
No, No, we don't. We have special brooms. In witchcraft, you never use your besom, which is another name for a witch's broom, to clean. It's not to fly either, actually, but yeah.
I will have to tell a friend of ours about that. He was our manager when we had an show, and I was walking through the store one day carrying a very large broom because I was going to go out and clean the dock area. And he looked at me, and then right in front of some customers, he said, "Connie, park your car out in the parking lot like everybody else."
And he didn't know how close he was. Hey, Marla, what's a coven?
A coven?
Yeah, I couldn't even say it right. Coven, yeah.
Yeah, I had to think for a minute. Yeah. All right. So a coven is a group that witches join. It's not a social gathering, but it's a place where you join a group. And covens have different types of covens. You know, if you're a good witch, if you're a bad witch, if you're any kind of Wiccan, they have all the different covens. And it's not all witches belong to covens. You know, it's not a prerequisite. I mean, there are many people like myself who prefer to be solitary practitioners, because there's good and bad in joining a coven, just like joining any other group. I'm not antisocial, but I work best on my own. And I guess that might be because I was an only child or something, but it doesn't mean I don't associate with other witches. I mean, I've got a lot of witchy friends, and I talk to all the time. But people that need structure, people who have a group mentality, usually will join a coven. And the good thing is if you find a coven that goes along with your belief system and you fit right in, it's really good. But there's no right or wrong. You don't have to. You hear about witches' covens all the time, but there's a lot of solitary practitioners out there too. So it's just, it's a group. It's like the PTA, except, they carry broom cards and stuff instead. They learn, they do rituals together. There's just advantages, but there's also the thing where you get a group of people together and somebody wants to be in charge, and then you have bickering in between, that kind of groupy thing. So some people don't like that, the politics of groups, so they do solitary work.
You were mentioning about your practicing and what you do as a witch. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think people mostly think about that we sit around and we do spells, and that's about all. But we do all kinds of other things. I mean, first of all, we're human. We take out the trash. We go to work. We do all this stuff. But we kind of do it for the good of, when we do a spell, we don't do it all the time. We do it when we need to. When we can't do things in the normal, mundane way, we go to witchcraft or that. So, again, it's like being one with nature and helping whatever we need to assist us. Sometimes we need to. We just do a little spell here and there. But otherwise, we just, we grow plants. We do all things just like everybody else, put their shoes on one at a time, and we don't really fly in a broom. And that might be scary for other people to realize. But no, my broom has never left the ground. So we're good.
Do you cast spells?
I do, yeah, on occasion.
Can you give us an example of a good spell? Can you give us an example of casting a good spell?
If you want to, let me think real easy, quick. Well, let me tell you one thing that people can get some help with. I have a cousin-in-law, and I didn't know him for a very long time. He and my other cousin got divorced. But all of a sudden he found me on Facebook, and he said, I really need to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in 30 years, but I really need to talk to you. I think our neighbor put a spell on us. And he said, the house is all messed up now. We're fighting in the house. She's doing something really bad to us. What can we do? So I gave him a spell. He said, do a spell for me. And I said, well, you can do it yourself, and it's really easy. And there's a mirror. Find a mirror and put a little bit of salt to clean it off. Sea salt is always something to consecrate our tools with. And I said, just put it facing outward in your window and say that when you do that, it's not even doing a spell. Just say what you want to say. And I suggest saying, whatever is coming this way in negativity, it will bounce back off the mirror and go back to the other person. So you're not hurting anybody. You're just, if somebody's giving you negativity and you don't want it, just send it back. So it's simple like that. There are spells that take, days and weeks and years to do, too. But I'm kind of a lazy witch, and the stuff that I do is very simple, but it's just to help people or myself if I need something. I just do a little spell, light a candle. Candle spells are really easy to do. And, sometimes an easy candle spell, if you want something like you need a little extra money or something, you just take a candle, a green candle, because green is for money spells, and just take a little pin and write on the candle, I need money, or I'm short, I need $15 right now or something, whatever you want. And just light the candle and let it burn. That's a spell. Very easy.
Sounds simple. There's a lot of people right now that are having tough times getting along. A lot of depressed people. Is there any kind of a spell that a depressed person could do that would perhaps help them with their depression?
People can very easily visualize things that they want, and it's not even a spell necessarily. It's a visualization. You just sit in a quiet room. You think about what you need, what you want, and see it in your mind. When we cast spells, we see that as we're doing it, we're seeing that as they're done. So you never have to doubt yourself, because if you do, the spell's not going to work. But if you want something bad enough, just wish. We all make wishes. That doesn't have to be upon a star either. We just make a wish and do it. So you just, whatever you want, you ask for, which is very easy. And some people say, well, I need somebody to do it for me. But, when you're asking somebody to do that, it kind of doesn't help as much as if you're doing it on your own. So if you need, you can also get together with a group of people and you can pray. I went to, I don't know what it was called, but there's a violin that has been made years and years ago that is still around, and it's made from different pieces of wood that came from places that were of a bad place. Like, I think they took a piece of wood from Auschwitz and stuff like that. And they made this violin, and it's a peace violin. And they had a ritual. And so I went because I had never been to one of these big rituals where everybody was doing it. And we walked in, and they kind of staged us to get all the whatever off of us so we could do that. Everybody was in a circle. Everybody held hands. And they had a guy that was doing with the singing bowl and making really nice music out of that. And all they were doing was telling us to think about peace. Just all of us together, holding hands and thinking about peace. And it gets sent up to the universe. And it was really a very touching thing. I had my friend's mother, who was like 85 years old, very Catholic. And she was so enthralled with it when they get in, and she was in a wheelchair, and they saged her in the wheelchair, and she got in the circle, and then they were, chanting a little bit and repeating, and she was doing the same thing, and she said she felt so good. And this is, a very religious woman who said, just, it was so peaceful to send out peace to everybody. And, so you can get together with friends. You can wait till the full moon, which is a really good time to do things. And just, talk about what you need. Let it come out of you. Let the earth hear you. And sometimes, most of the time it does, and things change. Just, you have to manifest things like energy.
Okay. What's the difference between casting a spell and manifesting energy?
Well, manifestation is partial. It's part of casting a spell, because you're manifesting what you want to have happen, if that makes sense. So it's kind of one and the same thing.
Can anybody manifest energy?
Oh, yeah. Let you want to try it? You and Connie,
sure.
And everybody that's listening. It's really, really easy.
Yeah, that's.
And I'm.
Yeah. Keep in mind, we got a lot of people driving cars, but yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So, when you're a kid and you rub your hands together really fast and hard, and you start feeling heat, I want you to do that now. Just rub your hands together until it kind of makes your hands tingle.
Okay.
So let me know when you're tingling.
Well, as cold as it is here, we tingle a lot, but it's this is about the only way to get
it. Might take a little bit. Might be a little longer for you to warm up then, but you just, everybody just kind of rub your hands together really fast, really hard. And when it starts tingling, very gently pull your hands apart, just a few inches. And then kind of put your hands very slowly, try to put your hands back together. And you're going to feel like when, you put two magnets together, how they kind of repel each other.
Yeah.
And it may not work the first time, but you can feel it. And that is energy. And, people say, well, we can't see energy. What the hell is energy? But when you do that, you've created energy right there. And this is what we use for spell casting. There's a whole bunch of other ways of gathering energy, too. Some people dance, some people ring bells, all kinds of things. But I love doing this exercise because there's a thing of you can make the energy ball, which is what you're doing. And as you're doing that, you can visualize something that you want. And then you kind of, how when you're doing a basketball shot with the ball, when you make that wish or that thought to happen and you've got that energy ball in your hands, then just throw it up in the air. And that's working with an energy ball, and that's working with energy and makes things happen.
That's pretty interesting.
But don't throw it at each other.
I thought about that. I definitely did. Yes. When we do a lot of our channeling, we always start off with a prayer of protection because evil energy, and we open the channels and things. How do you protect yourself from evil energy?
The same way everybody else does. We sometimes ask help from, spirit guides or guardian angels. We have our pentagram around our neck, like, people would have the St. Christopher medal. We ask God for protection. I think that's a universal thing. Everybody has their own way of trying to protect themselves. Sometimes you manifest a white bubble around you, that you're sitting in a white bubble, and it can't be penetrated. You would be like in like a glass, like a crystal ball. You could be sitting in the middle of a crystal ball, and then if you turn it with white energy, the bright light of protection, and I think you do that too, don't you? The bright light?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You're fading out on me, Gary.
I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Yeah, we do. We ask for the white light and things, and we consider people light workers. So it's. I guess there's a lot of things we do very similar to what you do. But
well, sure. You call on we call on the archangels too. Surprisingly enough, we do. So there's a lot of similarity there. But people just decide that, well, not good, bad, different. It's
is there an archangel for witches?
No, we use the same ones, actually. We share the same archangels. Next time you talk to Saint Michael, say hello from us, because he comes down and visits us a lot too. And all of them, actually.
Well, we may just do that next segment if nobody calls in.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, I like that. That would be good. Yeah.
So, Marla, why did you decide to become a witch?
Well, I didn't exactly decide it. It's something that sometimes is in the bloodline. Sometimes you decide you want to. In my case, it ran in the bloodlines. My great-grandmother, Sophie, was a witch. And so you don't have to become one if it's in the bloodline, but it just happened. When I was a little kid, when everybody else was reading Dick and Jane, I was reading a book called The Littlest Witch. And, my grandmother said, "Oh no, another one." She was kind of worried about that. But so it wasn't a decision. It's a lifestyle. And, I fortunately grew up in a house that was very open-minded, not necessarily about witchcraft, but about anything metaphysical. My mother used to see dead people, and, and it was no big deal, So it was just, it was something, and I didn't really, I guess when I was a kid, like any kid, oh, I'm a witch, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But when I got a little bit older, I realized that I had to go look back into history and find out, where we came from, what we were, what we've done. And it's a learning process that it never ends, which is a good thing. We're always learning, we're always growing, and trying to fight off that bad reputation, kind of. It's just, that's always a problem. And a lot of witches never do come out of the broom closet because of their being afraid.
Okay, let's take another short break. And we'll be opening the phone lines when we come back. The number is 866-472-5788. This is your chance to speak with a real witch. We'll be right back.
Connie and Barry will be back after a few words from our sponsors.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Psychic and author Barry Strohm has now published 9 books dealing with supernatural subject from ghosts to aliens. His most recent books, Messages of God and Messages of the Prophet Muhammad for a Modern World, bring you the channeled messages of the founders of Christianity and Islam. Their words are intended to guide their followers through these modern times. These books are available in softcover and ebook on Amazon.com. Signed copies of all of Strom's books are available on his website, www.barrystrom.com.
Connect with us, and we'll connect with you. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is on LinkedIn. Get the first word about happenings with the network, where our next live event will be, and what's up with our hosts. Look up Voice America on LinkedIn.
Is death the end of the journey of the soul, or a time of new beginnings? Is there proof of an afterlife? What would historic figures say if they lived today? Psychic and channeler Barry Strohm uses his gift of spirit communication to answer these questions and explore all aspects of the hereafter. Have all the information necessary not to fear life's final journey. Tune in to Spirit Speak, Exploring the Afterlife with Connie and Barry Strohm. Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Variety Channel. Welcome back to Spirit Speak, Exploring the Afterlife. Have a question for Barry or their guests? Join us on the show at 866-472-5788. That's 866-472-5788. Now, back to the show.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Phone lines are open. Feel free to call. Marla, one thing I still don't understand. Can you tell me the difference between voodoo and witchcraft?
Yeah, there's a couple of very big differences. Voodoo has a link with Christianity. They worship Christian saints. That's one of the differences. They also, though, they sacrifice animals from time to time in their works, and we respect all life and don't do any sacrifice. I guess it sounds funny, but they're more religious than we are. We are more spiritual. They're spiritual too, but I don't know how long voodoo has been around, maybe as long as witchcraft has been around, but I'm kind of spooked about voodoo people, and it's terrible because I shouldn't be. But you were talking about one day that Marie Laveau was a witch, and they call her, the Witch of New Orleans or something, but she was actually a voodoo practitioner. And I think if you call a voodoo person a witch, I think they'd probably get really angry, because that would not be what they would think of themselves as. So, there's certain similarities. I think they do spells and rituals and stuff, but in a very different way. Okay.
Hey, I see that we have Patty from Pennsylvania is on hold. So why don't we take her call and see what she's asking? Patty, are you there?
Hi. Oh, my
Hi
God.
there.
What a thrill to have the three of you almost in the same place.
Hi, Patty.
Hi, Marla. How are you?
Good.
I met Barry and Connie through Marla, and I met Marla through my brother. So this is a nice little circle. I love it.
Okay.
Perfect.
So my question for Marla is, do you have a favorite spell, or maybe something that you do every day as a witch?
I'm pretty good with, I really like to do little candle spells, for little things.
Okay.
They're really easy. And so I don't have a particular spell. Sometimes you sit there and if something's going on in the world, you just want to put some peace out there and stuff. But it just depends on the situation, Okay. Sometimes you get really upset and you want to do something and try to fix it right away. I will light a candle. Like I said before, I'm kind of a lazy witch. I can open a circle. I can do a ritual, but it's so much easier to just, do it. And I want to mention, too, people, if anybody's interested in spells, and Patty, I think you've seen this, too, on my Facebook page.
I also
every
have
Monday,
your book.
I do a spell. Yes, you do. But we do a spell of the week. And so if anybody, this week it was, what was it? Oh, my God, it was just yesterday.
I didn't look
It was
yet.
a quick money spell. Yeah, it was a quick money spell. And we do things, all over the place. So if my Facebook is just Marla Brooks, and, go over there, and you can do your own spell, and it doesn't mean that you're going to turn into a witch. Everybody does spells, like I said. If you pray, you're doing a spell. But, yeah.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
there
it's so nice
isn't
to
a
talk to all
favorite.
three of you. Pardon me?
Huh?
I missed what you just said because I was over talking you.
I got blurted out, and now I forget what I said. So say it again.
No, I just wanted to say it's really nice talking to all three of you. It's a thrill. It's starting my day off wonderfully.
Well,
thank you.
Good.
Life is
Thank
good.
you, Patty.
So I'm not going to stay on because maybe you'll bring St. Michael through, and that would be great too.
I'm thinking he's
kidding.
in here, so we might want to do this.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Patty.
Thanks, guys. Take
Have a
care.
good day,
Bye-bye.
Patty.
Take care, Patty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So, Marla, I am very interested in hearing what Michael, the Archangel Michael, would have to say about witches. And I think he heard.
I am too.
I cannot pass up the opportunity to channel when we get the shot at it. So we don't have any other callers on. So let me see if I can bring a message in from Archangel Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. Yes, witches, they can be good. They are good. They do many fine things for the earth. There are some that have lost their way. There are some that follow evil. But basically, witches are very good people. We watch from over here and we listen to what they do. We watch as they have different ways. The way of a witch is not the standard way of most, but it is fine. As you know, it is my role over here to protect souls. And I try to lead individuals that follow the deities of earth. I try to protect them, and I watch over them as well as my other archangel friends. It is sad that witches have had so many acts of violence against them. Through the ages, we've watched as they've been mistreated, been killed, tortured. It's a very, very sad thing. Obviously, over here, we do not speak of violence towards anyone. The act of showing violence usually brings violence upon those that show it. We often say over here that there are many, many paths to heaven. Witchcraft, when done positively, as Marla does, is fine. It's as good a path as any. It's a way of showing your belief in Mother Earth. Mother Earth is quite real. Earth energies are real. Trees, even rocks have energies. Crystals in particular. So, following the ways of Mother Earth is good. There are many, many paths. And for those that follow the paths of natural things, it is a true way. So thank you. Thank you for listening to me. And thank you for explaining that many ways of following Earth are truly acceptable in the eyes of God.
Thank you, Michael.
There you go, Marla.
Nice. Very nice. And yes, we call on him for protection whenever we need to, and he always is there.
What do you think the biggest thing was that gave witches a bad reputation?
There are a lot of things, and I'm going to have to give you a disclaimer on this one first, because, as I mentioned before, pagans embrace all religions and are not judgmental. But in ancient times, witches were called the wise women. They were very savvy about nature. They knew how to make natural remedies, cure illnesses. They were the midwives, and they were revered. And then when Christianity came about, they needed followers. So they tried to recruit as many as they could by fear. They said that we did the devil's bidding. We went around putting curses on other people, and that's how it all began. They put the fear of God in people that led to the burning times in Europe, where thousands and maybe millions were killed in the witch hunt. And that stigma it stuck. Christianity had a really good argument, and they just needed more people. And pagans don't recruit, by the way. We don't. You can join, you don't have to. But that was it. When Christianity came in, a lot of witches had to go into hiding because they were, going to be persecuted as witches, and they had a good. It was, well, I don't even know how to say it, but they had a good way of getting people to go in their area, in their direction, by saying that we were really bad and horrible and danced with the devil and, that stuff. So that's why we got a bad reputation, and it's still there because you're growing up. I mean, if you go to any kind of religious church, they're not going to be too happy if you say you're a witch.
That's true.
They're going to either they're going to kick you out, or at least, whatever.
Okay,
so,
Marla,
it's still going.
We're starting to run down here, so why don't you take a minute and tell everyone how they can see your spells and watch Stirring the Cauldron.
Okay. Again, Stirring the Cauldron is on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Para X Radio Network. The YouTube channel is available at Stirring the Cauldron Para X. Finding me is easy. My website is marlabrooks.com, and there's all kinds of things about my books, my witchy stuff. The show is up there, too. You can listen to the show from there as well. And there's some archives up there, too. And, I do a spell of the week on Facebook, and I stick it up on Instagram also. So there's a lot of ways. But if, just Google my name, and it'll take you everywhere.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Marla. We really appreciate you being with us today.
Yeah, I hope we've been able to change some people's minds today. So,
yeah,
Marla, thank you so much.
If anybody has any questions, yep.
Okay, next week we're going to be discussing death and what happens when you die. Our first channeling will be with Archangel Azrael. The angel assists souls upon passing. We're going to channel Steve Jobs, founder of Apple Corporation, and Robin Williams, the famous actor and comedian who committed suicide. Both of these people are going to tell you what it was like at their time of passing. So hopefully we'll be able to gain enough information so that you won't be afraid of the inevitable end, because we're all going to die. You might as well understand what's coming. I currently have 9 books on Amazon. My latest book, Messengers of God for a Modern World, consists of 60 messages that we channeled on our Wednesday morning podcast, A Weekly Message from Jesus. Messages of God is now available in English and Spanish on Amazon. Makes a wonderful daily devotional. Makes a great gift for a friend. The book is available in softcover and as ebook.
I would like to thank you all for joining us on the Voice America Variety Radio Network. If you'd like to see more of our channelings, as we've said, we have over 400 videos on our YouTube channel. It's in the name of Barry Strohm.
Okay. I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. I know I did. I learned a lot. I would like to thank all of you that take time to listen to our show. I would hope that you tell your friends about our show. Join us each Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We're on the Voice America Variety Network. We hope that you will take time to listen. We try to bring you things that will help your spiritual life, will help you understand what goes on around you. And thank you for listening.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Spirit Speak, Exploring the Afterlife with Connie and Barry Strohm. Tune in next week for another informative and inspiring episode on the Voice America